requested permission to interview Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore for the head coaching job. And now Dan, Stephen A. Of course, Kellen Moore was a player for the Dallas Cowboys. He was a quarterbacks coach, and he was an offensive coordinator at one point. Dan, do you like this, the thought of Kellen Moore leaving Philly as the OC to be the head coach of Dallas?
I love the fact of Kellen getting an opportunity to be a head coach. I think he's brilliant. I played with Kellen. He's unbelievably smart with how he sees football and communicates football and has the vision for football. I think Philly's a great opportunity for him to continue to grow, but at some point you take advantage of the opportunity to go become a head coach for the first time. It feels a little bit like what they did with Jason Garrett many years ago, where Jason Garrett was a backup quarterback for them and eventually became the head coach of the football team. But I think Kellen Moore is a very, very smart offensive mind.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Dan, because you're the great football mind. He's been enamored, Jerry, with Kellen for a long time. Wasn't his name coming up when they let Jason Garrett go before they brought Mike McCarthy in? But then there was all these claims of, well, you can't. It's the Cowboys. Bring in a first-time head coach. No, he was just playing. This is too early.
Yeah, Jerry Jones has loved Kellen Moore for a long time. I'd also say this. I think a lot of people in the NFL have been enamored with Kellen Moore for 6, 7, 8 years. Rightfully so.
Stephen A.?
I don't mind it. Not one bit. But for reasons you might not have thought about when you brought up this subject, Molly Wood.
Tell me.
You see, when you look at Kellen Moore, right? Isn't that the guy that was the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys when they were the second-ranked offense in the National Football League?
Yes, sir.
Isn't that the guy that had a high-powered offense and was still pushed out the door because Mike McCarthy convinced Jerry Jones that, you know what, we were throwing the football entirely too much and not really protecting Dak Prescott, and I would change things and things would be a bit different under me, and he gave Mike McCarthy that power and was willing to shove Kellen Moore aside? Well, that Kellen Moore willing to come back to Dallas, all the complaints that everybody has about Jerry Jones, how would it be any different with Kellen Moore? See, when I talked about Deion Sanders, when I talked about Bill Belichick, that's the difference. You understand? You're not going to push around Bill Belichick. You're not going to just summarily dismiss primetime Deion Sanders. Okay? But with Kellen Moore, that's more the same. I'm talking about with Dallas. I'm not casting any aspersions on him. I'm talking about him in Dallas. Anywhere else, Kellen Moore's a big-time candidate, not in Dallas.
Just to clarify with what you're saying, so essentially you're saying because the major issue in Dallas is the lack of culture, right, and the lack of leadership, and you feel like with Deion, that could be instituted, and with Kellen Moore, he would still be run by Jerry Jones.
You got to deal with and know how to offset the impact of Jerry Jones. He ain't the dude for that job. That's not him. He's already proven it.
You say what?
Well, in regards to Kellen Moore not being the guy for the job, I think
because of the culture, needing someone to really set a culture there and be the real leader and set precedent.
Yeah, I would say this. You don't know what type of culture builder first-time coaches are going to be until they become a culture builder. Yeah,
Dan Campbell did it.
But you don't know that, though. You just don't know. Now, Kellen Moore's been around Mike McCarthy. He was around Brandon Staley. He was obviously around Nick Sirianni, and by a lot of what we've witnessed this year, it seems like the culture in Philly is pretty good when it comes to dealing with the adversity of the team. I do want to mention something, Stephen A., in regards to the Deion stuff, because I was under the assumption that, in Deion's words, he was only going to go coach in the NFL if he could coach both of his sons, Shedeur and Shiloh.
He said that. I don't believe him.
Correct. Shefty said he thinks that would not be the case if it was Philly or Detroit. Excuse me, Dallas. He thinks for Jerry Jones, if it did happen, it doesn't mean that Shedeur would be going with Deion. He thinks he would make the exception for that.
I believe that because I believe, Stephen A., and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that would be the only outlier team, the Dallas Cowboys, right? Because of who they are, America's team, #1 headline, and obviously he was a Cowboys legend, right?
Listen, I've known Deion for decades, and all I would tell you is this. He's sincere when he talks about wanting to coach these kids, wanting to raise boys into men. He's not lying. He's very sincere. He's always been about that. I think the Dallas Cowboys, for him, would be the exception. I find it very difficult to believe that if Jerry Jones made him a viable offer to be the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, that primetime Deion Sanders would turn that down. I just find that very difficult to believe. I don't believe it. And by the way, I've told him so.
Yeah. I
Agree.
feel like
Agree.
this needs to happen. So
If they hire Deion, it would
Do it.
signal to me that they actually want to win. I think there's a lot of
And oh,
other
by
they
the
want to
way,
make a splash. Yeah.
No,
And by
yeah,
the way,
they wanna
Molly,
win.
people have crucified Jerry Jones, saying that headlines, are his versions of championships that he wants to win. Well, who the hell's going to win more headlines than primetime in Dallas? Who?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Makes
but
no
maybe
sense.
rest them away from Jerry.
Yeah.
Not sure he wants
Maybe.
that either.
But honestly, think about it right now.
Yeah.
You know, divisional weekend coming up, and what are we talking about?
Cowboys.
Exactly.
Yeehaw.
All right. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs begin their quest for a three-piece game in an Eagle shirt. SA, do you have any issue with Cat and Eagles gear in Philly?
Not a damn issue. Shut the hell up, New York Knicks fans. We ain't got time for this. That brother averaging 25 and 13. He do what he want to do. I don't give a damn if he wanted to wear a dashiki. Feel free. Do what you got to do. I don't care, okay? The man is averaging 25 and 13. He's playing like an all-star. He has shown up. He has shown out. He's from the New Jersey area, okay? He's from Middle New Jersey. You got a situation where he could have grown up an Eagles fan for all we know. As long as he didn't grow up, as long as he didn't show up wearing a Sixers jersey, that would have been a different problem. But Philadelphia Eagles, what's he supposed to do? What would you have him do? Wear a Giants or a Jets jersey? We certainly don't want that. We don't want that brother contaminated. We don't want him infected. We don't want something like that happening to Cat Carl Anthony Towns. He wants to wear. If that's what keeps him comfortable and happy, my brother, you go ahead and do it. I don't give a damn if he donned a helmet and pads, as long as he ain't getting out on that damn football field. When it's time to play for the New York Knicks, the way he's been playing, you do what the hell you want to do. Period.
I'm so with you, Stephen A. One of the most annoying thing in sports to me, beyond everybody clutching their pearls over flag planting, is fan bases that pretend like the players that play for those respective teams grew up fans of those teams. Shut up. He's from Edison, New Jersey. He's an Eagles fan. Jalen Brunson is too, by the way. Real big Eagles fan. He's just supporting his team. Get over it and move on.
Dan, you want to chime in here?
He doesn't really have anything to say.
How do you
told-
know he doesn't have anything to say?
Because he's from
because he would've
Connecticut.
said
He
it
has
already.
no loyalties to any professional
He
team.
would have
That's
said it
accurate.
already. He would have said
I
it
didn't grow
already.
up a professional sports fan. I loved like Boston College and Notre Dame.
Connecticut.
Yes. Stores,
Yeah.
we know.
Yeah, big Quinnipiac
Yeah.
guy.
Guess who's going to stores this weekend? This girl,
For what?
Creighton, 12 o'clock Saturday. Game
Yeah?
pull.
Big
Going
one.
with my dad.
That's some
Pay
breaking
for
news we
tickets?
couldn't wait to hear.
Okay.
It's-
You know
Stephen
what?
A.
The passive aggressiveness on this show today.
You told everyone shut up.
Stephen A., go jump in your fake ocean behind you, okay?
Yeah.
Because no one wants to hear
Yeah.
from you anymore. I already
Are you
heard
going
your-
out on the water
I already
tonight,
heard
Stephen
your
A?
takes all week.